Welcome back, everyone, to a new episode of the Skating Penguin Network. It is the evening of January 15th. We are about halfway through the first month of 2026, and we have a slate of Penguins games to discuss from the weekend and into this week. But before we do that, as always, joined by Snail out in the western part of the country. And Snail, how are things out in your neck of the woods these last few days?
Oh, it's cold, Robbie. It's getting colder. We've had a super mild winter so far, but I'm telling you, we're going to start dipping down into, I mean, can't whine too bad. I think it's going to get right around freezing. Yeah, the other day it was like 56 degrees, rainy
Wow.
and 56. Not, I mean, I literally just wore shorts and a sweatshirt the whole day. Like I didn't even need the sweatshirt. So,
Yeah.
I also, do you know what a MetaQuest is?
No.
A MetaQuest is basically like a virtual reality video
Okay.
game. You put these
Okay.
goggles, these big head things on, and you have these two controllers. I got it for Christmas. I've been playing a lot of tennis on there during these dreary
Okay.
days.
Okay.
Gets the blood moving a little bit. It's a This VR stuff is trippy, man. Have you ever put on a
Yeah.
VR headset?
I have. It's been a long time, but I
Oh,
got like like motion sickness when
oh,
I
you
put it
did.
on. Yeah.
That'll happen. I think it
Yeah.
can
I
happen.
don't. I'm sure it might have been the game I can't even remember what game it was, but yeah, I definitely I could only keep it on for so long before I had to take it off and because my everything was it was like I was going around in a circle. Yeah, and I do not handle motion sickness well, so
Okay,
yeah, it was a little
probably not for
too.
you then.
Yeah, I'm not. No, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I played. I don't know if you know the game Beat Saber.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I
I've
played
never played
that.
it, but I know it.
I played that and it was fine. Like that didn't do. Maybe it was just the game, but that's what's always kept me from purchasing a VR headset. Is I'm not going to waste the money on it if it's going to be something that routinely gives me motion sickness. So, but yeah, it is very cool. It's come a long way
Yep.
over the years, but it is definitely something that is very cool if you ever get a chance to try it. And it's used for obviously a variety of different things.
Yeah, so the main games that I play on there are golf and tennis, two
Okay.
sports that I don't play in real life
Yeah.
ever, but they're really fun for me in the VR. But man, I did the most embarrassing thing. I smashed my hand into my fireplace
Yeah.
playing tennis. I went up for a serve and I had moved around a bit, and I have a little. It kind of has a boundary, like it senses where things are, and it'll kind of alert you, and I had changed my position so many times. And dude, like my middle finger is like the fingernail. It's just like blood under there, not really attached. I did a full serve right into my stone fireplace. And so I've just been licking my wounds from that, man. Pretty embarrassing stuff. I'm sure I'm not the only person. I think I've seen compilation videos of people like running headfirst into walls and stuff with those headsets on.
Yeah. Oh
But
yeah.
that's what's new in my life, man. How are things out east in Western PA for you, Robbie? Give us the what's been up over there the last few days.
It's today. I don't know what happened today, but it was just cold today. It's about 11 degrees right now outside. It has just been cold randomly. It snowed, but it is supposed to warm up through the weekend. Not super warm, but more
Yeah.
comfortable before Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, dipping back down into the teens and around 10 degrees. So yeah, it's
10?
definitely 10. Yeah.
Ooh.
Monday night is supposed to get down to 0 overnight. So, but yeah, I mean, it's been pretty mild for the most part. No major snow or anything like that. Maybe an inch or two here or there, but nothing crazy on our end out here. It's been, like you said, relatively mild. We did have a warm streak too, kind of like you did for a while, where it was very, very unseasonably warm for Western Pennsylvania. But yeah, we're rolling along here into it'll be mid June. We're in mid June or January, sorry.
I wish we were
Um,
in June.
yeah, we're definitely a little ways away from that yet, but we're rolling right along, making our way through the first month of the year here. And yeah, the Penguins. They started off the month good. They had not lost since Christmas or before Christmas. They opened the new year with a couple wins. And then last weekend came around, and for 3 games, the offense just completely disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
As in, they played Calgary, and Boston over the weekend. They lost both by a combined score of 3-1. They lost 2-1 to Calgary, were shut out 1-0 in Boston. And then they came home for a game against Tampa, which they got to overtime and even a shootout. But again, only scored a goal in that game. So over the course of 3 games, they only scored 2 goals in regulation play. And again, while they didn't give up many, there are plenty of opportunities to win these games, but the offense was just completely anemic for that stretch there.
It was, and I think that, I kind of knew where this was going when we were talking before we hopped on here. I'd kind of already forgot. It feels like we haven't talked in only a few days, but they played quite a few games here with that back-to-back over the weekend. The one thing that I think you can take away from this, which, it's our jobs to probably kind of just find silver linings to talk about, because, yeah, the offense was gone. And we'll get to tonight's game against the Flyers where the offense was really clicking. But the guy scoring goals for the Penguins, man, this Chinikov kid that they picked up, I mean, he scored in the shootout, which, they lost in the shootout. And we'll get to that. And he that was against the Lightning. But he scores in the second period against the Flyers. He's wearing 59 out there. He's no Jake Gensel, but this guy is fast and he's got a sick release, dude. Like, this guy can shoot. I heard he has the hardest clocked wrist shot on the team at like 93 miles an hour or something like that.
He the puck just comes off his stick so quick.
Yeah.
A great example of that was if you watch the shootout against Tampa Bay, he was the lone goal scorer in that shootout for the Penguins, and his shot was literally in and out of the net. That before Andrei Vasilevsky could even really react to anything. And at first, when watching it live because of the camera angle, I literally thought he just ripped it off the back wall, like off the stanchion, and like the horn went off, and I'm like, I don't know how. And then I saw the replay. It just hit off the back of the net so hard it came right out. And Vasilevsky obviously was absolutely unreal in that game, outside of the 1 goal against.
Yeah, man.
But he was just completely shell shocked by that. Could not track it at all, and it was in and out of the net before he reacted. So when Chinikov, again, he doesn't have to wind up and crank it. He just lets go of a wrist shot, and that thing just flies.
It explodes off the stick. It's crazy.
Yeah, it does.
I don't think the Penguins have really had somebody with like a release like that. Like, I think you could probably pencil Raquel in there. Like, he's got a pretty good release, but this Chinikov kid, man, I don't know. They might have found this is a great little diamond in the rough for them, underperforming in Columbus, kind of the odd man out there. It had been reported that he'd wanted a trade, like it wasn't him and Dean Evison or whatever. It wasn't clicking there. I mean, he's still really young. He was a first-round pick. I've said it before. I think him and get Malkin a Russian, like a nice complimentary Russian piece, and see what he can do with like a young Russian player. And Chinikov's been getting on the score sheet, and the other guy that's been getting on the score sheet during this kind of dry spell of offense is Malkin. Evgeny Malkin is back from injury, and he hasn't missed a beat, really. He's right back to getting on the score sheet, yeah, man, it's just nice to see, because I don't know about you, but I was wondering when he came back from this, few weeks off he's had with that frozen shoulder, like a kind of old man injury.
Yeah.
He looks energized. He's moving out there. He's noticeable, and he's getting on the score sheet, man.
Yeah, Malkin has been he picked up exactly where he left off. There's been he was rusty for like a period, and he's just been one of their best players like he was before he went down. I think at this point, it's a foregone conclusion he's coming back next year, I think, at whatever price tag that is.
Oh, Nick Kiprio said he's going to the Wild. So
for some reason, trade rumors about Evgeny Malkin have just sprung up out of nowhere. Like Nick Kiprio started it.
PSN. He says he put a picture of him in a Minnesota Wild jersey. He said he's like number 1 on the trade board. I'm like,
they mentioned it, I think, 2 or 3 times on the ESPN broadcast tonight about possibly trading him. This coming on the heels of Evgeny Malkin saying, if the Penguins asked me to play goalie, I would do it as long as I can play in Pittsburgh.
He also recently said, didn't he literally say like he he just wants to play in Pittsburgh. Like, I swear he said something.
He had a comment in Pittsburgh, or a comment. It might have even been like right back when, like after he signed this deal that he's on now, or something like that. And he said, "Only Pittsburgh, only with Sid." That was his exact comment. And it's just people trying to, like, not paying attention to, or not understanding the complete story. They don't get the whole picture. They just don't understand. I don't think they understand loyalty like this in any shape or form. They just don't understand it at all. And it's not like the Penguins are dog doo-doo. Like, they're in a playoff spot. It is mid-January. We're in the second half of the season. They are going to be fighting to the end to make the playoffs. Like, this is a team that can
along
make
with
the
a
playoffs.
lot of other teams that were penciled in to make playoffs.
Yeah, and you're not going to trade him to potentially one of these teams that you're fighting with. Like, it's not going to happen.
What a draft pick that the Penguins have so many of in the first 3 rounds for the next 3 years.
And he has a full no movement clause. Like, he can reject any trade that he wants to, whether it be to Minnesota, whether it be to Florida, whether it be to LA. He can say no to anything. There's nothing that would even prompt these rumors right now, and none of it makes sense. Maybe they were so mad that Crosby never got traded, they just had to go to the next biggest thing, and that being Evgeny Malkin. I don't know what would possibly prompt this, but it is where we're at, unfortunately. And Nick Kiprio started it, and then it's got all the way to the ESPN broadcast. So I don't know. I don't understand it.
It's silly, but of course, I don't think people were really bringing this up the last couple of years. And then Evgeny Malkin's having an unreal season this year, and he's just loves Pittsburgh. Like, talks about Pittsburgh, and he loves playing with Sid. And I mean, for a guy who, there's been a language barrier at times in his career, and a guy who has been, at times kind of cold towards the media. He's also had his moments where he's been very viral and good with the media. For him to come out and say these things, and all of a sudden, leave it to Toronto media to really try to stir the pot and post him into wild uni. If anybody has the ego, we always talk about Crosby, like Crosby just kind of like lets his contract signing and all that do the talking. He goes, I signed my contract. I want to win in Pittsburgh. That's all I've ever said. Evgeny Malkin's the type of guy that if they're talking about, go play with Kirill in Minnesota, Evgeny Malkin has the ego to say, no, come play here.
Yeah. Why not come to Pittsburgh? Why? Again,
Kirill might like the idea of playing with a few Hall of Famers, snapping it around. It's goofy business, Robbie.
It is. Calling it goofy business is being, it is about as basic a terms as you can put it. It is complete. Just again, it's just trying to stir the pot to stir the pot's sake. There's nothing really. There hasn't been too much trade action recently, so they need something to get the people talking.
They don't do that stuff.
I guess. They don't. They literally would be out of the job if they didn't have this stuff to talk about. So Kiprios must have been the one. He just spun a wheel and it landed on Evgeny Malkin's name. He didn't update that. He didn't update his wheel since like the summer. So it's probably a wheel that has 4 names on it. 3 are Crosby, 1 is Malkin, and it just happened to land on Malkin this time. He scored that beautiful goal against Tampa Bay to tie it late. Finally got one past Vasilevsky. The Penguins were all over Tampa Bay in overtime too. They were all over. They struggled 3-on-3, but not in this game. They had so many chances to win it. But Vasilevsky is back to kind of his prime. Like, he is one of the best goalies in the NHL right now. And when he is on, he is darn near impossible to beat. He is just everywhere. He covers every inch of net. You need a picture-perfect shot to beat him, and that's what Malkin had.
That's what Malkin did, man.
Yeah, it's the only place you could beat him, right under the pad, off the post, and in. The only thing was going to beat him was a shot like that, or Chinnikov just ripping off a wrist shot that he couldn't react to, but that was even in a shootout, like
only
regulation.
Score on him.
Yeah, it's just an absolute missile from Malkin to finally beat him, and It just felt like the Penguins right now, even these games they lose, these games feel different than they did a year ago. Like everything feels like in January of last year, it was already like we were deeply in like the mud. Like it was already just painful to watch. Now you're like, man, we just got to squeak out these points here. Everything is right there for the taking. And it's crazy how we were talking at them at the beginning of the season versus now. Like, yeah, I mean, you get a little fist pump going when Malkin's scoring goals like that in January. And man, that just felt like they feel like they can match up with a team like Tampa Bay. Like Tampa Bay is a team that's a good hockey team. Even without Braden Point, that's a team like Kucherov.
Up, man. Like,
yeah,
no McDonough, no Hedman, no Braden Point. That's
Kucherov
tough
is
sledding.
A demon on the ice. He is terrifying every time he touches the puck. Jake Gensel is there. Vasilevsky, they're well coached. The Penguins have played them twice this year. They're 1-0-1 against them. They can play against Tampa Bay. Like they have played Tampa Bay very well. And that was a promising game, even though they didn't get a win. But the offense was just so non-existent. Like they didn't really like Boston. It felt like they weren't going to score. They could have played that game. Like they could have played like 8 periods and they weren't going to score a goal. And Boston was not going to score after that either. Like Boston, like neither of those teams look interested in putting in more than 75% in that game. And it was really going to be whoever scored first. And outside of the puck taking just a bizarre bounce, it didn't feel like the Penguins were getting anything in that game, and they didn't. And I kind of felt that way against Tampa too, because Tampa's goal was super weird. Sheilov thought he had it, and he just dropped down, and J.J. Moser just happened to see it and poke it through. And
thought there could have been a whistle.
I mean, I thought he had it until they showed the replay, and it just popped out. It's unfortunate. Like,
and good on J.J. Moser for not quitting on the play, man. Like that's the game.
Yeah, and he got the goal. I thought it was over at that point. I'm like, the way that Vasilevsky's playing, there's 5 minutes left in this game. I don't know. But Malkin answers the bell, gets a tying goal, and then they battled through overtime and got through shootout. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it done, but that felt like a turning point. And then we get to this evening. Philadelphia's in town. Philly ahead of them in the standings, putting together a pretty good season under Rick Tocchet.
Now, Robbie, before you go too far on that, let's just talk about this quick. So there is a slog of teams. Like it's like Philadelphia is ahead of the Penguins in the standings. You've got Toronto that's clawed their way back. You've got the Eastern Conference. Like if you're a mid team that didn't have playoff, Stanley Cup aspirations, it's the best year to be a mid team because it's just jockeying every night. Every interdivision game is like one of those, what do they call them, 3-point games?
Basically, they are with it, because of the overtime point involved,
So it's just like, you look at the Flyers. Do you buy what they're selling this year as far as like, do you think when you're looking at the two Pennsylvania teams, like, I feel like the Penguins are the better team despite the standings. Do you not feel that way?
I mean, in the 3 games they've played, I think the Penguins have been the better team. They have 2 wins. They do have a shootout loss, which, I mean, that's just typical.
Well, when Zegras is on the other side, luck.
I don't know what the read on Philly is. Their goaltending situation's not good. I think Tocchet maybe has them playing a little bit above what their talent level is. Okay. But like you said, the New York Rangers are last in the Eastern Conference, and they're only 8 points behind the Penguins. Now, points percentage wise, they're much more. Again, it's a long way down to there. But like you have the Penguins, it's just a mess in here. I mean, you have the Sabres who have been one of, if not the hottest team in hockey besides the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Good for them too, man.
The Red Wings are playing good hockey, who the Penguins have beaten since Christmas. The Canadiens are playing good hockey again. The Atlantic, it's just so convoluted. Like everybody is in a complete jumble right now. The Penguins are only 6 points off the division lead, but by the time they drop the puck on Saturday, they could be like multiple spots out of a wild card, but only like a point out of a wild card spot. Like Philly, I think, came into this game in like third place in the Metro, and they're currently 3 spots below the second wild card. Like
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's again, I think at some point separation is going to come. It's only like everything eventually reverts to the mean. So like
For
eventually everybody's going to filter out, and by the time we get to the trade deadline or even a little after, you're probably going to have a list of like, okay, here's like 6 teams that have a realistic shot of making a run at a playoff. And then by the time it hits April, you're probably like, these are like, you're going to have a good look at who's going in the Atlantic, the Metro, and here's like 4 teams that are going to battle for 2 wild card spots. So it's all going to come down to these division games that the Penguins are playing. You have Columbus on Saturday to wrap up this little homestand before you head out west. At Columbus, a team that's been struggling, a game you're going to need 2 points in that game. That's all there really is to it.
It's a good way to put it.
Yeah, and you have opportunities to grab.
Tonight was too. Sorry to interrupt, but I thought tonight against the Flyers, this was I don't care how ugly it has to get, just get 2 points against a team like this.
And it wasn't really ugly. I mean, they pretty much just beat their ass tonight. It's belt to ass right from the start. They get 2 power play goals in the first period, and they just go, belt to ass for. We'll say 58 minutes. They did let up a little in the third period, a couple mental blunders, but overall, I mean, they didn't really let up tonight. I think it was 3-1 or 3-0, and then it went all the way to 6-1 at one point. But they didn't give up. They scored 3 power play goals. They didn't give up anything on the power play. The penalty kill has been absolutely lights out as of late. And again, tonight, the scoring was all over the place. You had Justin Brazeau gets a goal, a power play goal. Brian Rust scores. Egor Chinikov gets another goal. And then you have Sidney Crosby, Blake Lizotte, and Connor Dewar getting goals as well. So up and down the lineup, the scoring was all over the place. Finally, the scoring breaks out. I mean, at some point, I was going to start getting really, really mad if they weren't going to fix something here at some point. But they finally got the offense flowing, and they put 6 on the board. That a huge outbreak. But the Flyers, man, the goaltending situation is bad in Philadelphia. That's what I think is going to end up being their doom. Michkov did score tonight, but he only has 10 goals this year. Maybe a little bit of sophomore slump there. I just think on paper, like if you go mano a mano, these 2 teams, I like the Penguins. They played.
Think of them in a 7-game series. I think I'm taking.
Yeah, I just think again, the Flyers are younger. The Penguins have the experience, but listen, if it's a 7-game series against the Flyers, I'm gonna bank on 87. That's what it's gonna be. Like tonight, he had 4 points tonight. 2 points. I thought he had. Oh. No, he had 2. I thought he had an assist on one of the other power play goals. He did not. He had a goal and an assist. But again, like he's just routine for a point or 2 against the Flyers every time they step on the ice. Just how it is. And the way they're playing, I'm going to take the goaltending in Pittsburgh too. As crazy as that is to say.
Haven't said in a long time.
No, usually I'd be like, it's a toss-up. Whoever is less dog crap, I will take. But Skinner, good tonight. Shelov's, even though they lost those 3 games over the weekend in Tampa Bay, the goaltending was excellent in those games. Nothing you can blame on the goaltending there. You got to give them some offensive help. But yeah, Skinner, good again tonight. Chris Letang, outside of, there were some moments, but the Letang-Kulak pairing has been actually pretty good. So that has made a huge difference with Erik Karlsson out of the lineup. Obviously, fingers crossed that the Karlsson thing is 2 weeks and he can get back before the Olympics. But No, the offense breaks out tonight. And yeah, if we're being honest, and yeah, it's going to sound biased and you can take that how you will. If we're going a 7-game series against these two teams, I just like the Penguins. It just roster against roster, it just feels like the Penguins are deeper. The experience is more on the Penguin side. And if this is the goaltending matchup, I'll take my chances with Stuart Skinner over either goalie that the Flyers had in net tonight.
Yeah, for sure. I think that Urson guy heard them. I heard Buchagras say that he actually has the worst. He's the worst goaltender in the league. So when you got an anchor like that in goal,
good.
It's not good. And Dan Vladar, who's been a pretty decent journeyman goaltender for a number of years in whatever market he's played in, he's never been deemed like a number one. Have the Flyers ever had since Hextall? Have they had I mean, they had Bobrovsky in their system.
Yeah, but I mean, the Bobrovsky played game. No, he didn't. He was in Columbus by then.
He was in Columbus when he won his Vezinas.
Yeah, no, I mean, Bobrovsky, again, it's just something weird about, I don't know. They just have some kind of hex on goaltenders. I don't know what it is, but
Hart was there, but I think they rushed him to the league, and then he has his own his own baggage now. So
yeah,
I don't know. They've just never really had that really good goaltender that can kind of separate them. And yeah, the Flyers are an interesting case study in the NHL. Never really gone full rebuild. Never really had a number one scorer since Giroux, an offensive guy like that. I mean, they've had Tarasenko for a cup of coffee. Didn't they have Tarasenko, or am I just making that up? Either way.
No, they never had Tarasenko.
Why do I feel like they had Tarasenko?
I don't know.
I have no idea why I thought they had Tarasenko. I don't think
they did.
Where did Tarasenko... He's in Louis Blue, right?
Is he in Minnesota now?
He is in Minnesota now. Oh, he was a Panther. Maybe I'm thinking of...
He was a Panther.
And maybe he played with Giroux in Florida. I don't know.
He was in Detroit a while, he might have played with Giroux in Florida. But that's all I can really...
Maybe I'm just getting dementia early. I don't know. Either way, they've never really... My point is that they've never really, had that number one in goaltending is basically what I'm doing. And I feel at this point they're going to need to just hope that they draft one as opposed to well, didn't they draft that Russian goaltender that was supposed to be a stud?
Yeah, I don't think he ever really turned out. They brought him over really early too. But Samuel Ersson, you mentioned about on the broadcast, he's coming into the game. He's 6-7-4 this year. He has a 3.32 goals against, which is 48th in the league. He has an 8.55 save percentage, which is 60th in the league, which he's
not good. You're not going to win many games with that.
No, yeah, you're just not going to win hockey games playing at that level. That's just not going to happen. And then Alexei Kolosov, who was he's Belarusian, but he's barely played this year. At all. He only has, I think this was his second game played or third game played or something like that. Only 24. But no, I mean, yeah, if you're going roster against roster, if it's a 7-game series, if they end up the 2-3 or whatever, I'm going to take the Penguins, I think, just straight up. I just think that they're a better team, a bit more experience. But hey, the Penguins, that's a big 2 points for the Penguins. They're back in. They're actually in the third place in the Metropolitan right now.
Not the photo bit for the wall because it's still change by tonight.
Still a cluster, but they're winning these games in hand now. They still have 2 games in hand over the Capitals, who are they're tied on points with. They have a game over Boston.
Could you say that again with the Capitals? What was that again?
The Capital, they have 2 games in hand over the Capitals.
So that's why they're slotted higher.
Yeah, they have 2 games. The Penguins have 2 games in hand. They're technically over the Capitals right now, though they are tied on points. But again, it is just it's mayhem. It is a complete mess in the standings right now. The Flyers are actually in the midst of a 4-game losing streak. That just shows you how quickly things can change. The Penguins lost 3 in a row and even got a point out of 1 and slid outside the playoff picture. It's going to be a completely chaotic final once we get back from the Olympics, final like 6-7 weeks of the season, because there's just no 6-7 there's just no there's no separation, and hopefully it comes at some point, because I don't want to be going into like the last 2 weeks and there's like 8 teams that can feasibly make a run for the playoffs, because that would just be like a lot of scoreboard watching all the time. But
as if there isn't enough already around that time of the year. But it's one of those things it'll probably be the case, unless, Robbie, I could see a scenario where once this Olympics is over with, maybe that's where things might chill out a bit, or it could stay chaotic until game 82. You never know. But maybe after the Olympic break, maybe some teams will slip out of it and they'll kind of punt on the season, and then you'll kind of have that like separation a little bit more. But again, like, how many GMs are going to punt on a season like this where they think, I don't hate my team, and we're so close that like maybe if we just someone will try to add something, and all of a sudden they can put their team just barely over that threshold and maybe sneak in. Like, I mean, I could see a lot of GMs being motivated to try to make something out of this chaotic season, don't you? Or do you think that maybe there could be a separation after the like around the trade deadline, obviously post Olympics?
I agree. It's tough to say exactly, because like if it's this tight, there's not going to be really a trade deadline. No. It's basically going to be a Cold War where nobody does anything. And in an Eastern Conference that is generally mid, like if you can get in, you can just be like, hey, listen, we're here. We'll just see how it plays out. We might be an underdog, but the way the season's gone, we've gotten some good breaks. We're not really that far off these teams. Nobody is a dominant force. We don't have to fight with like a Colorado or a Dallas, and we'll just let the chips fall as they may. We'll go with the team we have, maybe make some minor moves. Maybe there's a team or something in the West that is completely out of it, that is ready to sell some leftover pieces. But when it's this tight, you're just not going to get a busy trade deadline. And with the East being as potentially wide open as it's looking right now, you got a bunch of GMs that will say, I'll take my shot with the team I have and let the cookie, we'll see how the cookie crumbles. That's what we'll do. And
for sure.
Yeah, if it doesn't work out, we're in a lottery position, so we'll still get a lottery ball. And if we make it, that's fantastic. Who knows what kind of upsets we can pull with how everything shook out. So I could definitely right now, I'm not anticipating a blockbuster type deadline because I think if teams are still within shouting distance come the deadline, GMs are going to not show their hand, hold onto their cards, and see how it all plays out as the season goes along. Just kind of roll the dice.
Yeah, actually, on the broadcast, Robbie, I forget what the name of the guy is who was commentating. It was I had the national broadcast out here.
Yeah.
ESPN had it. I don't know if you had that too.
Yeah, we had ESPN too.
You had ESPN too?
Yeah.
They actually asked Kevin Weeks, and I'll praise Kevin Weeks for this a little bit. He asked Kevin Weeks, if you were the GM of the Penguins, what are you looking to do this year? Do the veterans deserve another kick at the can and you add, or do you kind of like you were insinuating, maybe there is no trade and you just hold on to everybody and see how your team fares because of the standings? Kevin Weeks didn't say anything about trading Crosby, Malkin, Letang, Carlson. He simply said, if you're Dubas, maybe you try to add another young piece if you can find one, like they've been doing. He didn't even necessarily say trade for them. He said actually a player like Kindle. Do you have another Kindle in your system? Maybe you go out for some faster, younger player in some capacity. I liked his answer. Are you kind of aligned in that thinking, Robbie? Is there a player out there that you think fits? If the Penguins are where they're, let's say you fast forward and we're in late March and they're in the same position. I guess late March is tough. Let's say you're right before the trade deadline and they're in this exact spot. What are you looking to do? Are you adding by subtraction from this team? Are you looking for a young piece? Are you looking for some sort of defenseman. I don't know. What are you looking for?
I think if you're looking to do anything, it's going to be adding, but in a very minimalist way. You're going to try to get a young guy, somebody with control. You're not getting a rental. You're not paying for a rental.
No rentals.
That's just not happening. Yeah, I think you're going a young piece, a guy that maybe even has got his feet wet in the NHL, that is kind of on the border. Maybe he's, again, I don't think you're going to get a superstar, but I definitely think you're going to, if you do anything, you're just going to try to add minimally, because again, when this team's healthy, like your forward lines are like that is a playoff group of forwards. Like that is when they are at their best health, that is a playoff group of forwards. Maybe you're looking to add something on the blue line, but again, it's going to be a guy that has control, a young guy, that it's probably going to be a defensive minded player. Like that's probably what you're going for. The only other thing I could possibly see them moving is if a team that is desperate for goaltending would offer them something for one. Yeah, a massive overpay for one of these guys. Not necessarily like it does. It could be Blomqvist for all I know. I just think that that is the only way that they're gonna make a significant move if somebody overpays for a goaltender. I could see them maybe like a team that's desperate that would maybe like be looking at I mean, man, if they would really need Kevin Hayes or something like that, move like a Hayes type of player, but they're not going to move. They're not going to move any of the young guys. You know that
for sure.
The only way they add is someone that's not old, has some contract years left, and you can get for cheap. That's really what maybe like another Chinnikov type move, something like that. That is where I think you're going to be looking if you want to add this trade deadline, unless someone offers you an overpay for something crazy, for a goalie or something like that.
Overpayment for a goalie, yeah, like
Skinner
that. I wouldn't even want to part with Skinner at this point.
Yeah, I mean the way Skinner's playing, like if you're serious about making the playoffs and kind of just seeing how everything falls, like Skinner should be on your roster unless the wheels would completely fall off for some reason. Another thing that has to be mentioned that we didn't talk about, Blake Lizotte, a 3-year contract extension for the engine of the Penguins' fourth line, $2.25 million a season for the next 3 years, starting next year. Home run, I mean, with the cap and their cap situation in general and what he means to them. I wouldn't even have risked putting him on the market. I thought maybe if they were out of it, he could have been a trade piece, but there's definitely bigger plans for Blake Lizotte in Pittsburgh, clearly. So big moves by Dubas getting that deal done before we even have to pretend to worry about it.
Yeah, and Blake Lizotte, man, talk about that's the type of player I'd be looking for at the trade deadline. Another type of, if they make it into the playoffs and they've got their forward lines, their offensive forward lines, you can kind of plug and play a bunch of guys, but that fourth line is so key for their success. If you could get another fast kind of aggressive, it doesn't even need to be like a knuckle dragger, like mean player, but just someone cut from a similar cloth as like Blake Lizotte. That's what I'd be looking for, but happy for the kid. Signed a shorter deal. And I think that's because he must like it in Pittsburgh. He's 28. He'll probably sign another deal. He might get.
Oh yeah,
playing like this, he'll sign another bigger ticket, and he'll get paid that life-changing. He's not going to make $10 million a year, but he'll probably get that next big contract after this. But $2.5 million for a few years in a place that he fits in really well, and he he clearly likes. He fits in well with this team. He likes it in Pittsburgh. It's a good deal all around.
Yeah, and there's clearly a defined role of what they expect from Blake Lizotte. Like they straight up know that he does what he's told. Like he has a specific part in the lineup. He kills penalties. He puts in the eventual goal, and he makes everything work with Dewar and Achari. And that is, it's a very clearly defined role. He doesn't have to worry about being a healthy scratch. They very much know that he very much knows that he is a secure roster spot. And I think that, again, he knows what the potential of this team is in the next few years if things keep going the direction they are. Maybe 3 years, maybe they stumble their way into some playoff luck. You never know. And then he can reevaluate when the time comes, depending on how everything shakes out. But no, a good bit of business to get Lizotte locked down for the next 3 seasons. It was funny that literally like 2 hours before that deal was announced, Josh Yohe at The Athletic had a mailbag that pretty much like somebody put in a question like, what about the free agents? And he said, I wouldn't expect any of the free agents to sign before the end of the season. And then literally 2 hours later, the Lizotte contract was announced. So
that one, Yohe.
Yeah, that deal was done. That was one we wanted to talk about come this summer, whether or not the Penguins are going to bring.
Have to put any AI images of Blake Lizotte on his trade board. That's for sure.
Yeah, but no, Blake Lizotte will remain in Pittsburgh. So it'll be interesting to see what the next deal is now. There's a couple other guys out there that have put together good seasons that will need new contracts. A big name that was mentioned right after that was Connor Dewar. He is a free agent at the end of the season. Again, a big part of that.
The goal scoring legend.
A big part of that fourth line. So will be interesting to see how Dubas goes forth from here now that Lizotte's done. Again, I didn't expect it to be done this early. I don't know if there was just always an open line and Dubas threw out a number and Lizotte said, "Yeah, let's get it done, so I can buy a house and not have to worry about it." But yeah, nice little deal there for the Penguins to get that done, and big part of the depth the Penguins have built. The Penguins are deep. They're a deep forward team right now, which is not something they've had the last few seasons. Yeah, I mean, the goaltending, we know that the goaltending is deep. I don't know if you saw the same night that, I think it was Tuesday night, Tristan Jarry took an adventure in overtime, I believe.
See that.
Yeah, that's how they lost.
Predators?
Yes, he took an adventure, and they lost in overtime because he decided to, take a little leisurely skate up the ice.
Up to his old shenanigans.
Yeah, up to his old shenanigans, and the puck ended up on a Predator sticking in the back of the net. And
I did see that. Yossi ended it.
Yeah, and the camera went right to McDavid standing at the bench, looking at like, what in the world just happened?
Quite puzzled. Yeah. Well, welcome to our world. I've been standing up in front of my TV looking at him exactly like that.
Hands on your hips, like
just kind of like, well, I guess that game's over. Jeez.
Disappointed dad face.
Disappointed dad for sure. And speaking of disappointed dads, nothing to do with hockey, but Mike Tomlin is out.
Well, the Penguins.
Walk us through that here quickly.
The Pittsburgh Steelers got their pants pulled down on national television on Monday night against the Houston Texans.
Kirk Rogers didn't have much going for him that
game. No, he did not. Just a very bad performance, very bad showing. And Mike Tomlin the next day or 2 days later or whatever, it was announced that he is stepping away from coaching. He is stepping down as the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach after 19 seasons. So the Penguins, the Steelers will be looking for their fourth head coach since 1969. And I appreciate everything he did for the city, the team, but it was long past due. It was time for a change. They were so far behind the ball on modernizing, just adapting to the way football's played now. So, best wishes to him. Thank you for everything, Mike. But definitely looking forward to a new future in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, man, it feels like it's time. I've seen that guy behind that coach for a long time. It just feels like they've been trying to really stave off like some sort of like rebuild there. I mean, you guys, if you just look at like the quarterback situations there, you guys went from Ben Roethlisberger, great career, and then you went into I mean, I forget even some of the guys. You had a couple of young guys that didn't pan out. You had Russell Wilson and Aaron Perk Rogers.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
really trying to grasp at any last straw you could kind of get there. Yeah, man, end of an era. And the other one ended too with that one coach from the Baltimore Ravens getting fired.
John Harbaugh also got fired. Yes, John Harbaugh. I don't know if he was technically fired because he was there for like 18 years.
Yeah,
but he just got rehired by the New York Giants, so he is back in work.
$100 million.
Yeah, a lot of money to throw
You
around.
think Mike Tomlin made a good amount of money?
Tomlin?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was making like $20 million a year or something like that.
He's set for life.
Oh my gosh, he's well. I think he gets paid out for the rest of his contract for the next year of his contract too. So yeah, he was well compensated for doing that, and yeah, he is definitely not going to be hurting at all. So he has more time to head up to Seven Springs and hit the slopes now that he is free from
Springs.
Seven Springs is a ski resort outside of Pittsburgh.
Oh, I didn't know you guys had mountains.
Yeah, I mean, sure, they call them that. Not like the Cascades or the Sierras out there. Not like that. But yeah, we do have mountains high enough that we can put skis on our feet and go down them.
Nice.
Or snowboard if you're into that.
He will definitely be probably enjoying himself.
I would. My gosh, if you paid me that much money and told me I didn't have to do anything, heck yeah. I wouldn't. I'd never hear from me again. I'd show up to do this podcast once or twice a week, and from like some remote
do that
from some like remote island, and then yeah, I'd disappear. I wouldn't even have a footprint outside of this.
That's right. Me neither, man. Before we get to wrap it up here, I did want to ask: have you watched the latest hockey sensation?
I have not. I knew you were going to ask.
Are you watching Heated Rivalry?
I think I've watched it enough just from following everybody on social media that I don't actually have to watch it. I have not watched it yet. Have you watched it?
So yeah, I think I only have like one episode left.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I binged it in like a night, man. Like one day.
How many episodes is it?
I'll have to look it up, but I want to say, let me see. It's only season 1.
Gary Bettman said he binged it in one night.
Did he?
He said he loved it.
My man.
Which is so funny.
There's 6 episodes, and this is the first season. And I
know that they're coming back with another season. Yeah,
I've watched. I might be like partway through episode 5, so I think I've only got or partway through episode 4. I think I only have like maybe 1 or 2 more episodes left. It's a good show, man. But I will say, I knew what was going to be going on in this.
Yeah,
It's about 2 gay hockey players. If you've been living under a rock, it's based off of the rivalry of the Habs and the Boston Bruins, but the actual hockey players are based off of Sidney Crosby and Alex Ovechkin. It's a Russian and a Canadian. The Russian went number 1 overall. The Canadian went number 2 overall. So they're drawing some comparisons. Yeah, and I will say that like the hockey stuff, it's very accurately written. Like as a hockey fan, your mind goes, "Oh my god, my sports nerddom can really attach to this show because it's good." But I will say that like some of the scenes, I felt like a 3rd grader because I couldn't keep a straight face. I'm for everybody, whatever you are.
Yeah,
I don't care. But I will say that some scenes were so overtly gay that I was like kind of chuckling. Like I was like, wow, this is borderline softcore porn.
I've again getting like saying like the part about it being like accurate to hockey. I have heard a lot of people say like that. Yeah, it's a like the way it's written. Like it's not like a cheap fan service to hockey. Like it's legitimately written by. It's a smart hockey show. I would pay a reporter like a very large sum of money to ask Sidney Crosby what he thinks about being the inspiration for the NHL's newest hit TV show or NHL adjacent hit TV show about two gay hockey players, I would pay like a large sum for someone to ask him that.
I would pay Sidney Crosby a large sum for him to just give an honest answer.
I just want Crosby to be like, yeah, I love it. Watch it. I watched
it in one night. I watched it on a plane ride.
Yeah, we watched it. We're having our trip out to Seattle. That's what we're doing. We're having a whole heated rivalry theme.
He's like, I actually had an Ovechkin over to watch it with me.
Oh God, that's not good. Yeah. Me and Ovechkin, me and Obi actually FaceTime during the show. But no, I mean, it's gonna get people into the game, and that's cool. I mean, I've already seen stuff on like social media about people being really into getting into hockey, trying to learn about hockey. And listen, the NHL is not a sport that can just turn people away.
No,
they can't afford that. So if they lean into it, just again, there's some teams gonna have like a heated rivalry night. It's gonna get wild. It's probably gonna be Seattle. They kind of have the whole vibe of that would fit that show.
They do. They're really into the whole Pride nights here.
Yeah. So. But that's the Penguins. That's where the Penguins are on Tuesday.
Yeah, at the 19th.
The 19th, that would be Monday. They are out in Snail's neck of the woods before heading to Western Canada. So it's 5. That's right. It's a 5:00 afternoon game or early evening game on Monday too because of the holiday.
Because of the holiday.
Yeah, so it would be 2:00 your time, Snail.
Yeah, it's an earlier one. I don't know if I'm getting to that one. It'll be the first year I don't go, but I might try to nab some tickets last minute and head down there, but we'll see how that plays out. I did want to interject quickly here, Robbie, that when about a month ago, the Habs played the Boston Bruins, I believe it looks like it was in Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
They showed the heated rivalry trailer and they played the music. They actually had a heated night. And that night, I think someone got pumped 6-2. There were a bunch of fights. I mean, it was a big night in the Bell Center for that show. So I could see teams jumping on this heated rivalry train. Because like you said, the NHL is not in a position to shoo away fans despite how they get into the game. If this is going to expand their viewership, they're gonna find ways to, I was gonna say milk it, but let's not go there. They're gonna find a way to jump on that train. They're gonna find a way to accept this and really buy into it.
They're not gonna say no to money.
No. Never have. That's not Beckman's
That's not how professional sports leagues run. They don't say no to money. So
historically,
it'll be interesting to see how they, especially like maybe over the summer, once they have like a time to like evaluate like how they want to handle it. It'll be very interesting to see what they do. But no, I mean, I probably will watch it at some point. I just haven't watched it yet, but I've seen so much about it. I basically know the entire story of what happens.
Get your popcorn and maybe sit down one night and check it out. And yeah, it's a wild ride, man. So I would recommend it though. As a hockey fan, and like, I don't know, man, I like watching shows. I'll watch stuff. Like I watched Euphoria when it came out. It reminds me a lot of Euphoria. I don't know if you've seen that.
I've seen Euphoria. That's a great freaking show.
It's a great show. I think they just dropped that, like, what their next season's coming out here, like in the spring, I believe.
Yeah, sometime here soon.
If you could get down with Euphoria to a certain extent, and maybe you do, and you're listening to this because you like hockey, you will get into heated rivalry.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Euphoria is a damn good show, though.
It is. I'm excited for this new season too, man.
Yeah, but yeah,
Robbie, that's all I really got, man. Penguins pumped the Flyers, thank God. Heated rivalry is going to be thrown on this weekend. And the Penguins play again. I believe they play Columbus the day after tomorrow, right?
Saturday, yes. They do play Columbus on Saturday at home, their final home game before they head out west. So another chance to grab some points. You know that Western Conference road trip out to Western Canada is always a tough run because
tough for them.
It's tough to get points even if those teams aren't at their best. But So Snail, if you have nothing else, I have nothing else. The Penguins beat the Flyers 6-3. They end a 3-game losing streak. The offense finally returns in a big way. So hopefully that can continue as we get through the rest of January here. So for Snail, I'm Robbie. We'll talk to you guys here in the next few days. Have a good weekend and enjoy some Penguins hockey.